Welcome to the Helping Writers Become Authors podcast. I'm KM Weiland, and I am here to take you deep with story theory, writing techniques, and the incredible wisdom of story. I believe story is the greatest power on this earth, and that as writers, we carry the torch of wielding that power with responsibility, passion, and skill. There's no such thing as just a story. Today, it is my honor and my purpose to help you write your best story, astound the world, and maybe change your life. Hello and welcome. You are listening to Season 17, Episode 13. One of the most interesting challenges of writing a series is figuring out how to create different character arcs for the same character without it feeling repetitive or forced. So whether you're writing a progressive arc that unfolds over several books, or you're exploring entirely different arcs in each installment, the goal is always to keep the character's journey fresh and meaningful. Welcome to today's episode, How to Write Different Character Arcs for the Same Character, Part 1 of 2. And first, let me just say big thanks to damonza.com for sponsoring today's episode. They're known for designing some of the most eye-catching book covers out there, including, in my opinion, mine. If you want to know how your book cover measures up in today's market, Damonza offers a free professional review. It's a quick and easy way to get expert advice that could make a huge difference when readers are browsing. Just visit damonza.com/review/WBA to get started. It's free and well worth it. All right, so last month I shared an episode about developing different character arcs using the Enneagram personality system. However, after writing that episode and its follow-up about how to unite the Enneagram with the archetypal life cycle for even deeper character arcs, I realized I hadn't quite got to the heart of the question that inspired that original episode from Zoe Dawson, who said, "What is your take on using the Enneagram 9 personality types and constructing their lies so that it's not repetitious for each story?" So although Zoe's question was specifically about the Enneagram, the deeper underlying dilemma is one any author writing more than one story will eventually face. How can you make sure you're writing varied and interesting character arcs rather than just repeating yourself? So this quandary may ring true for you in a number of different scenarios. Maybe you're writing a series in which each book features progressive character arcs that all tie into a larger overarching arc. Or maybe you're writing a series that features a thematically new and independent character arc for each story. Or you could just be writing multiple unrelated books and you want each one to be fresh and different. So today I want to dig deeper into the big picture of how to construct lies the character believes, character arcs, and themes that don't repeat from story to story. This week, we'll dig into some specific tools and frameworks that can help you shape varied arcs. And next week, we're going to explore some general principles to keep in mind. So to get us started, here's an idea I've always found resonant, and that can be helpful, somewhat counterintuitively, in keeping in mind when seeking to vary your writing. And that is, we all have one story to tell, and we just go on telling it in different ways. Now, is that explicitly true? Certainly not. I, for one, have written one novel after another that are completely different from one another. And yet, I do feel that every story in an author's body of work must ultimately point to the deeper truths and themes of the foundational story that is the author's own life. No matter how much you may or may not change the outer trappings in your story, I'm talking genre, setting, plot focus, etc., the underlying thrust and focus will always be you. And I don't see this as a drawback. I see it as the most compelling offering every author brings to their readers. In fact, I would suggest you might be most successful in varying your character arcs across books once you can realize the thrust of your own underlying interest and intention. For example, no author was perhaps more famous for writing a legion of staggeringly quirky and unique characters than Charles Dickens. Yet even a cursory familiarity with his stories shows the underlying cohesion of the author's focus on social issues, particularly the plight of the city's poor. So, as you brainstorm new and different character arcs for your stories, it might be worthwhile to start by first identifying what actually makes them the same. All right, so let's start where this question is trickiest: how to write different character arcs for the same character. One powerful way to write different character arcs for the same character is to ground the character's growth in a larger developmental framework. Just like real people, characters evolve through recognizable stages, emotionally, psychologically, and even spiritually. So mapping your character's journeys to a progressive system can offer a shortcut for creating arcs that feel both fresh and cohesive across the series. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So the following 6 models can offer useful blueprints for tracking your character's inner evolution and continuing to shift the lens through which they experience the world from story to story. System number 1, the 5 foundational character arcs. So just the basic shape of the foundational character arcs can in themselves guide you to resonant variations. These foundational arcs, which I talk about in depth in my book, Creating Character Arcs, and elsewhere, are the 2 heroic arcs, the positive change arc and the flat arc, and the 3 negative change arcs, the disillusionment arc, the fall arc, and the corruption arc. You can mix and match these arcs from story to story to create vastly varied experiences. The simplest approach is to observe the natural connections among them, especially the 2 heroic arcs and the 3 negative change arcs, respectively. The positive change arc, in which the character overcomes a limited lie-based perspective and gains a broader truth-based perspective, leads naturally into a subsequent flat arc, in which the character can stand upon the newly gained truth to inspire change in others. Likewise, the negative arcs can be crafted as part of a larger cycle. The character might undergo a disillusionment arc, in which a difficult new truth creates a vulnerability that may lead to resistance or resentment. And this can easily then lead into a fall arc, in which the character bolsters resistance to the truth by investing in greater and greater lies. This easily leads into the still worse corruption arc, in which a character who once had the opportunity and advantage of recognizing the truth instead opts to reject it utterly. System number 2, the life cycle of the archetypal character arcs. In my book, Writing Archetypal Character Arcs, I fleshed out the mythic lens of storytelling beyond just the hero's journey to explore the full gamut of the human life cycle. Each of these 6 foundational archetypal character arcs naturally leads one into the other, making them perfect for a series in which you wish to explore an ever-maturing character. These 6 foundational archetypes are the maiden, which explores individuation, the hero, which ultimately explores service, the queen, which explores leadership, the king, which explores sacrifice, the crone, which explores surrender, and the mage, which explores transcendence. And you can find even more possibilities for variation while adhering to a solid thematic throughline by also exploring these 6 flat archetypes and the 12 shadow archetypes that accompany each of the primary archetypes. System number 3, the Enneagram Map of Health. So last month I offered quite a few new tools and perspectives for using the Enneagram personality system to develop your character arcs. However, one particularly useful aspect that I did not touch on was the stages of growth that are inherent to each type. In their book, Personality Types, Don Richard Riso and Russ Hudson map 9 stages for each type, ranging from healthy to average to unhealthy. And each of these stages could be fleshed out into a full character arc, with the stages advanced in either direction, depending on whether you wanted to ultimately tell a story of a character who changes positively or negatively. So just for example, the 9 stages for type 8, the challenger, are listed like this, from healthy to unhealthy. The magnanimous heart, moving to the self-confident person, moving down to the constructive leader, to the enterprising adventurer, to the dominating power broker, to the confrontational adversary, to the ruthless outlaw, the omnipotent megalomaniac, and finally, the violent destroyer. System number 4, Spiral Dynamics. Created by Don Beck and Chris Cowan, Spiral Dynamics is a model of human development that maps how individuals and societies evolve through increasingly complex value systems. Each stage, which is represented in the system by a color, reflects a particular worldview, from basic survival to tribal loyalty to achievement and beyond. In character development, spiral dynamics can help you explore how a character's core motivations and beliefs shift over time. As they move up or regress down the spiral, they may adopt new values, question old assumptions, or clash with characters operating from different stages, all of which can offer rich material for varied arcs across a series. The currently recognized stages, or what they call memes, of the spiral are, number 1, which is represented by beige, and they call it survival sense. This is about basic survival priorities, for example, food, water, shelter, safety. Number 2 is purple, or kin spirits, and this is about tribal loyalty, superstition, and tradition. Number 3 is red, or power gods, and its themes are dominance, ego, power, and asserting control over others. It's also sometimes called the warlord meme. Number 4 is blue, or truth force, and this is about order, rules, morality, and obedience to a higher purpose or authority. Number 5, or strive drive, is about achievement, success, science, and rational progress. Number 6 is green, or human bond, and its themes are those of equality, empathy, community, and consensus-driven values. Number 7 is yellow, or flex flow. It's about integration, systems thinking, flexibility, and personal responsibility. And number 8, or turquoise, called global view, is about holistic awareness, unity, and spiritual consciousness. System number 5, the 4 stages of alchemy. Originally developed in the Middle Ages as a supposed process of turning lead into gold, the stages of alchemy are now recognized as a symbolic representation of, you guessed it, character arcs, or, psychological development. Potato, potato. A few years ago, I shared a post showing how the 4 stages of alchemy map perfectly onto the 4 quarters of story structure, and therefore, character arc. However, you can also choose to represent each stage as an entire arc of its own, allowing a 4-story cycle to reveal the final alchemy. For that matter, many explorations of alchemy posit many more stages than just 4, which could allow you to both lengthen and deepen your story arc. The 4 basic stages of alchemy are, number 1, the negrito, or the blackening. This is about a descent into darkness, confusion, breakdown, and ego death. Number 2, the albedo, or the whitening, is about purification and clarity, recognizing truth, and separating from illusion. Stage number 3 is the citronitis, or the yellowing. It's about insight, illumination, integration, and growing wisdom. And stage number 4, or the rubedo, the reddening, is about wholeness, rebirth, and final transformation into the true self. And system number 6, the 4 stages of knowing. So as you may remember earlier this year, I similarly explored how the popular 4 stages of knowing also map neatly onto the 4 quadrants of a story's development. So just as with the alchemical process, you can also stretch these stages to explore each aspect of the transformation more deeply in multiple evolving character arcs. The 4 stages of knowing are, number 1, not knowing that you don't know, or unconscious ignorance. Number 2, knowing that you don't know, or conscious ignorance. Number 3, not knowing that you know, or unconscious competence. And number 4, knowing that you know, or conscious competence. So all of these frameworks, whether psychological, mythic, philosophical, or symbolic, can offer powerful scaffolding for exploring different character arcs for the same character without losing cohesion or authenticity. Not only can they help you avoid repetition, they can also support you in uncovering the deeper through line of meaning that connects your stories to each other and to you. So next week, we're going to zoom out for a big picture look at just some general guiding principles and narrative strategies that you can use to vary your character arcs across multiple books or series. We'll explore how to make your arcs feel intentional and fresh without straying too far from the heart of what makes your story uniquely yours. So stay tuned for that. And if you're looking to deepen your understanding of character development and ensure your cast evolves in meaningful, thematically resonant ways, my book, Writing Archetypal Character Arcs, offers a powerful framework. It explores 6 foundational arcs: Maiden, Hero, Queen, King, Crone, and Mage that reflect universal patterns of growth and transformation. So whether you're crafting a protagonist's journey or exploring contrasting arcs for supporting characters, this resource can help you weave rich symbolic layers into your storytelling. It's perfect for anyone wanting to write dynamic character arcs for different characters across a standalone novel or an entire series. It's available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook, and you can find it on my website at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. And I hope you'll stop by and join me in this conversation. How do you approach writing different character arcs for the same character in a series or across multiple books? And that brings us to the end of this episode of Helping Writers Become Authors. I hope you'll stop by the site for a full transcript of this episode and to join in the conversation in the comments. Tune in for next week's episode, where we'll continue to explore all things writing and storytelling. If you'd like to support the podcast, it always means a ton when you take a moment to leave a quick rating or review on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or Spotify. To stay updated on all the latest content I create for you, the best way is to join my mailing list at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com/mailing list. You'll also immediately gain access to lots of free resources, including my books, Crafting Unforgettable Characters and 5 Secrets of Story Structure. For real-time connection with me, more writing advice, and behind-the-scenes glimpses, follow me on Instagram at authorkmwyland. A heartfelt thank you to each one of you for your support and enthusiasm, and especially those of you who support my work on patreon.com/kmwyland. You help make my site, this podcast, and so many other resources available to writers everywhere. So until next week, keep writing, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep being true to your stories. Thank you for being part of Helping Writers Become Authors.